I'm going to share with you how we designed the business element of the Everly Putrajaya. Yeah. I will mention that normally we have the biggest impact on the hotel profitability when we come in, when the project is on paper, because we can make a lot of changes. So the Everly Putrajaya is quite an interesting project because the owner is a very big group and they own another hotel in Putrajaya. It's managed by an international operator. In fact, that was a job that I was not given because they want to make Putrajaya more renowned, so they give it to an international operator. But that was actually a very difficult project because the way it was designed by some other people and they had to take over the project. So I was very glad I didn't get the project. But the company quite liked the way I pitched for that job, so they said they would try me out on this job. So when I walk into the job, basically there are two things we have. One is they had the design brief, which is it's 382 rooms with a banquet hall of 500 and basically only 5 meeting rooms and coffee shop that sit about 250, right? And then with that, and they have been doing this design for about 2 years, and I think it was being designed by a committee. And it's extremely difficult to design a hotel with a committee because you need somebody to be driving the decisions, right? So when the project was handed over to us, we make a market study. Yeah. Putrajaya being the administrative capital of Malaysia, there is government and government-related business. That means people come to see the government and a lot of training by government, and then it's close enough to Kuala Lumpur that you can also tap on to the corporate training and meeting business from Kuala Lumpur. Right. So with that in mind, we then look at what are the hotels available in this area. The other hotel owned by the owner is basically a 4-star. Right. I can't remember the official rating. It could even be rated a 5-star. There is a 5-star small hotel, only about 107 rooms. And then there's a huge international franchise of hotel, 500 over rooms at 2,300 ballroom seater, fixing 5-star price with multiple Japanese restaurant, Chinese restaurant, and a coffee shop. Right. So these are the key hotel available, and of course the government has a convention center, and the convention center there is not enough events throughout the year. What I roughly know is there are no more than 10 events a year, right? So there are some business for convention, but it is not much at that time. So the hotel we design, we look at each component. The 382 rooms, we maintain it as it is. I found a way to basically redesign the banqueting side, increase the platform, and we managed to put in a 1,000-seater ballroom with about 35% foyer space. So we have had, subsequently we've had events that even open up to the foyer area, and we can sit close to 1,500 if the whole place is available. I also recovered an extra floor space, a mezzanine floor, because it was a double volume building which was going to be waste. So I put in a mezzanine and add another 5 meeting rooms. So we now have 10 meeting rooms. And then because the hotel is quite big and we know the Ramadan business, the Ramadan buffet normally you can attract a lot of people. The 250-seater is not enough for Ramadan buffet. So the way we design the ground floor, the 5 meeting rooms, is that they can all open up, and the separating corridor wall is just a sliding see-through wooden panel, which in Ramadan we just fully open, so the the coffee shop become a 500-seater coffee shop. That gives us a lot of flexibility. We then have a small cafe. It's called a Novo, sitting about 40, 50 people. Yeah, and then we are supposed to open a fun pub, right? And so then we have a swimming pool. And when we check the market, there zero gym at that time, decent gym. And because we want to support the conference and we want to attack the international conference business, the gym was very well done. We spent $250,000 on equipment, life fitness equipment, right? So we know that is a high standard, and we want to have that because we felt that we can create a clientele from the people living around here to pay for the operation of the gym. So that's how it was designed. And during the construction process, the owner decided to make it a green building. So there was a budget cut, and Fun Pub was not built, it was left vacant. And I was extremely glad that decision was made because subsequently I found out that because it is an administrative center, very few people who frequent this area will drink alcohol here. So it would have been a bad decision, right? So I was saved from a bad decision out of a budget cutting process. Just to let you know, the Fun Pub since then, or around the 6th year, we have converted into 5 meeting rooms that are more, modern, contemporary, and designed so that people who want to do brainstorming, etc., they feel better in that type of rooms rather than the older style decor of formality and serenity. And this 5 meeting room faces the lake, and a lot of people like it, right? So that's how we designed it. And let's talk about penetration of the business, right? When we opened the hotel for the room business, I decided that we want to have a positive cash flow and fill up as fast as possible, because we already know our variable cost is no more than about, based on the pricing at that time, no more than 10%. So we contracted with China tour group operators for volume business. And in the first year, in fact, from the first month, they came in, but because our pricing is based on prepayment, so they pay us money, and actually we were positive cash flow from month 1. We didn't really require the money from our owner as working capital, right? So that tour group business, we fill up about 30 to 40% of the hotel, and we were already immediately in positive GOP. The second thing we did was we looked at the government business that are available, and we want to again fill it up fast and be successful fast. So we attacked the bottom pricing of the government group for meetings, etc. So again, there are plenty of that. We just fill up the hotel. So immediately the hotel made money in the first 8.5 months that we operated. And in fact, in the first 8.5 months, we were able to return money to the owner, roughly about $1.5 million, right? And the owner was very pleased. Now let's go fast forward now. As we establish our reputation and the fact that we can execute service, we were able to raise the average room price, right? Because we are attracting higher paying customer, and then the people who were frequenting the 5-star know that our customer service is good, and that our service, although we are 4-star, will not lose to a 5-star in terms of service. In terms of extra restaurant, etc., we don't have, but that we know will not make money in any case, Right? So we start to establish a market, and then on a conference and meeting business, we start to gather more independent corporate company, and also training by company, training government people, etc., at a higher value. So what we did over the first 3-4 years in terms of conference business was also move up the food chain to a higher room rate. By about year 4, we are only taking the high price meeting and training package of the government. The first 2 years, cheaper rate business, we forego it, we give it up, right? Because we also established the corporate sector from KL. We are about, in the morning, we are about 35-40 minutes from Kuala Lumpur. So they can have an out-of-town meeting and be near enough to the office in case something happens, they can move, right? And so that is the way we establish the business. And in terms of fast forward, what we have learned is also that in order to optimize we have to keep our costs low, right? So from day one, this hotel has been running with about 180 staff. On 382 rooms, we mean staff per room ratio is about 0.45, which is probably one of the lowest. Typically in the international 4-star hotel, they are at 0.8 staff per room, right? Second part is that our overheads are lower, and on that basis, we maintain high profitability because our break even for this hotel is only 27.5% occupancy. At 27.5% occupancy, we break even, right? So let's look at financial returns over the. We just finished our 11th year. We were returning by about the 5th year, we were returning close to 10% of the investment, right? The car park, because the car park is, the hotel is sitting on top of the car park. Normally, any hotel that sits on the car park, the cost is very high. And even our construction cost per room is high because of that, right? And we cannot reach the American ratio of 1,000 times the average room rate we should achieve, right? We are only achieving maybe about 60% of the 1,000 times the average room rate number. Right? So what is happening in since then is that, you know, Malaysia is going through a period where it's adjusting its minimum pay. So I think we started with 1,002, we're now at 1,007 for the basic minimum pay, but you can't hire people at minimum pay today. So compensation has gone up, utilities prices has also gone up, right? So it's a challenge maintaining the profitability. Luckily, we have owners who are very experienced in hotel ownership. The group owns totally five hotels, 3 in KL. And our request to renovate the hotel is now being implemented. So our coffee shop area changed, our carpets have been changed. By the way, carpets in a hotel typically you got to change around the 8 to the 10 year because the wear and tear will start to show, especially in the banqueting side, right? So those have taken place. We are busy in the midst of renovating the rooms. And so right now, as I speak, 6 of our floors out of 15 are closed down for renovation, right? But what we know is that with the new hotels coming up, again, people start complaining that our ID cannot compete with the new hotels anymore. So it's very, very important that as hotel owner, you must understand around the 12th year, you need to do a major renovation. So that money you got to reserve, right? So that's where we are today. This hotel in the 2 COVID year, we also earn, but we earn only about 1/3 of what we earn in the normal year, right? And since COVID ended, the year we have 22, 23, and 24, we have record earning throughout. So again, what we want to tell you is that to bring the price of selling price and thereby your gross profit high, it takes a few years journey. You can come high, but then your occupancy become low. So we are now talking about another international operated hotel, the one I mentioned owned by owner. Their average room rate is now at about 300, but the occupancy is very low, and I feel that they are not making money. But if you only maintain high price and without understanding that you need to maintain a revenue per available room, that means room rate multiplied by occupancy is the most important number. And for owner, what is in the end the gross profit is what you take home. And that is the key number that you must look for.